very happy Friday to you, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. We are kicking off Memorial Day weekend, typically a time where people think of it as the unofficial start to summer. Certainly not feeling that way outside. Joe, another cloudy and chilly day across northern Michigan.
Yeah, we've been stuck again in the 40s and 50s. Tomorrow, 50s, maybe a couple low 60s. So we're going to kind of start going the other way out. That's right. And it should be pretty nice, especially by the time we get to Memorial Day coming up on Monday. Still a few showers. I mean, if you're watching in Rogers City tonight, you know, it's been kind of wet. Alpena County, Drummond Island, rain there. But gradually that is going to start heading out of here too. So we'll start to see a little bit of improvement in the weather, especially for the holiday weekend. All that coming up a little later.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe. Our top story tonight takes us to Sleeping Bear Dunes at National Lakeshore, where on a typical year, about 1.5 million visitors will go check out. And a third of those, 500,000 people, would typically visit one pretty popular destination with a very beautiful view of both the dunes and the lake. But as our Mark Chalette reports, returning visitors this year will notice something's missing.
We know that the dunes have been moving for years. We've known that this day was coming. We just didn't know when.
Turns out that day that was coming for decades arrived this spring.
When we got out there in April to get ready for the summer season, because the drive closes down in the winter, we found most of the western pilings were free hanging.
In the past, on a typical summer day, lookout number 9 on the Pierce Stocking Drive is an extremely popular place. It's where folks race down the 450-foot dune and then try to climb back up, and where, since 1986, other folks could stand on this wooden platform and drink in views of it all. But in 2025, they won't be able to.
Lake Michigan hasn't moved. The dune plateaus are still there. The spectacular views are there. And so the entire area is 100% open. The only difference is that platform is not there.
It's gone because the dunes decided to do what dunes do.
The dunes of Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore are living, breathing geologic features.
In a typical year, due to wind and waves and nature, these dunes move a couple of feet from west to east, which isn't really a challenge until you have a man-made structure buried in them for decades. The sand around the platform's long legs shifted to the point where it was time to make a decision.
When we have 500,000 visitors going to that location every year, I want to make sure that it is a safe, enjoyable visit.
So chalk that wildly popular platform as the latest victim of the shifting sands.
For safety, we couldn't reopen it, and we had to remove it meticulously so that we could remove it from the dune without impacting the resource.
After consulting Park Service engineers and pulling permits, crews got to work carefully dismantling that spot that so many of us have stood. Today, it's gone, which may come as a surprise only to visitors.
We've known this is going to be a day that was coming.
Because they know how sand works. So they've had in the works a plan to replace the platform for a few years now.
We have what's called a 5-year recreation fee plan. So we plan 5 years out how we're going to use the visitor fees that visitors pay when they come to Sleeping Bear. And right now, we already have a plan, within that plan, a design for 2028 with possible construction in 2029.
In the meantime, a reminder that like the shifting sands, some things change out here, but some things don't.
Visitors are still going to have an amazing experience here at Sleeping Bear. You'll be viewing North and South Manitou Islands from sand under your toes rather than from a wood perched platform above the sand.
From one popular nature area to another, an Antrim County Nature Preserve is becoming more accessible. The Grass River Nature Area opened a new stretch of boardwalk today, and our Daniel Zivian was there to check it out.
I'm at the Grass River Natural Area in Antrim County, and I'm on a newly built boardwalk so that people in wheelchairs, people with canes and walkers can access the beautiful views at the end.
The original boardwalk was built by volunteers in the 1980s. Phase 1 of reconstruction began in 2018. The Phase 2 boardwalk is 0.4 miles and has 2 new overlooks and an accessible dock and kayak launch.
It does have bumpers on the edge, so if you're in a chair or you have a wheeled unit, you won't fall off the edge. When you get to the overlooks, it is fully ramped with handrails, so it's safe for folks to come on up and experience some of those higher observation points. We want everyone to come out to Grass River, no matter your ability level, no matter your age, whether or not you have a stroller with you or you're in a wheelchair.
Wright says they are not finished yet. The Grass River area will be renovating about another half mile of boardwalk starting this summer. They hope to cut the ribbon on that this time next year. In Antrim County, Daniel Zivian, Up North Live News.
Anyone who works in the bee industry knows just how important they are, but it may be underestimated just how challenging it can be to manage them in a honey farm. Meteorologist Trevor Robideau spoke to a local bee farmer about just how much work goes into beekeeping and has a few tips for any new beekeepers out there.
It takes 1,152 bees to fly 112,000 miles and visit 4.2 million flowers to make a 1-pound jar of honey.
This is John Stevens, an award-winning honey producer with multiple different bee farms around northern Michigan, and he's been doing this a long time.
It all started 20 years ago when my brother-in-law actually put bees on our property. He was just getting into beekeeping. And my wife, his sister, really enjoyed him coming and got involved in it.
Before he knew it, one hive turned into multiple. Fast forward to today, he has a lot of experience in the honey producing business, and he's learned a thing or two.
You're going to have ups and downs because you are trying to keep a bug alive. But I did switch 11 years ago to the high-density polystyrene hives, especially for here up in northern Michigan. And ever since I've switched to those hives, I haven't had to buy bees since.
These hives are built to survive harsh Michigan winters because they are well insulated to keep the bees alive. John switched to these hives after he lost more than half his hives one year.
We're going into winter with 57 hives, and in February I looked, and we were going to, well, at that point there was 14 hives still alive.
But even with this upgrade, John has no shortage of work on his hands. He is, as they say, as busy as a bee.
I do bees every day. Some days, daylight till dark. I tell people I work 9 days a week sometimes because it's just a constant thing.
With John's experience, he has given multiple presentations on beehive structures and how to read them. And he's got some advice for those looking to start a new hive, be it for hobby or for profit.
You are going to get stung, so get used to it. And generally, I tell most beekeepers, you'll see a lot of beekeepers go with no gloves on their hands. And a lot of, new beekeepers will wear the big bulky gloves. And I tell them you'll be a better beekeeper if you can get rid of those big bulky gloves. Not necessarily that you have to go gloveless.
John also recommends you get some sort of lifting mechanism to lift heavy hives. In Otsego County, Trevor Robideau, Up North Live News.
That's all just.
Let's take a look at an event that happened today in Traverse City. Dozens of people gathered at a cemetery there for a Memorial Day tradition. Volunteers gathered at Oakwood Cemetery to place 2,200 American flags to honor those who were laid to rest in Traverse City. Now, this annual tradition is to ensure that every hero is remembered this Memorial Day weekend. And let's take a look at our question of the day. With Monday being Memorial Day, how do you plan to honor those who died in service to the United States? Scan the QR code on your screen right now. That'll take you to our website where you can vote. Now, it looks like a lot of people do plan on visiting a cemetery or a memorial, but we will look through the results more toward the end of the show. And to see a full list of different Memorial Day ceremonies and events in northern Michigan, you can head over to our website, UpNorthLive.com. Okay, for our guest tonight, we wanted to do something a little different. We want to introduce you to our newest team member here at Up North Live News. She's already had a couple of stories on the air, but you haven't seen her face or heard her name yet. Until now. So let's welcome our newest reporter, Mary Jane Glynn, to Unscripted. Hey, Mary Jane, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you as part of the Up North Live team. And so let's get to know you a little better so their viewers at home have a little bit of an idea of who you are. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Mary Jane. Where do you come from? Where are you from?
That's a great question. So I live in a suburb that's 20 minutes outside of Chicago. It's Glenview, Illinois. And then I went to school at the University of Colorado Boulder. That's where I really fell in love with journalism. And then my first job in journalism was actually the morning reporter at Color 8, and now I'm here. And it's going to be really fun, and I can't wait to kind of learn this community better and learn through you guys.
So what was your experience like being a morning reporter there in Montana?
Oh my gosh, it was such a great job because it really taught me, how to roll with the punches. I would wake up at like 3 a.m. and just get ready for the day. That, as you guys know, you guys have a morning show, and you see us at 6 a.m. But you really have to get up early for that. So, yeah, it just really taught me how to move fast and go.
And get up early. So now you are on a more, I guess, normal schedule. You'll be more day side, so you can sleep in a little more here at Up North Live News. So have you been to Northern Michigan before? Do you have any family here or anything like that?
I actually have no family here, but right when I got this job, me and my dad went on a road trip, and we just kind of tried to hit all of Northern Michigan. Then we realized that was, a very big plan, but we were able to visit a lot of areas, and I'm hoping to visit the rest while I work here.
What was your first reaction just driving around Northern Michigan? What do you think of it so far?
Michigan is not what I thought it was at all. It is so beautiful here. I knew it was beautiful here, but when I think of Michigan, I didn't really think of it being all foresty. I just kind of thought of lakes, and I've been really surprised in such a great way about the beauty of Michigan.
And like you mentioned, it's a very big area, and we cover just 24 counties in our viewing area. So there's a lot that you're going to have to check out. I think we're going to have to make maybe like a bucket list for all the things that you need to see while you're working up here, because there's just so many great things to do, so many beautiful things to see. And I know you came to Northern Michigan not by yourself, right? You brought a couple of furry friends with you.
Yes, I did. A funny story about that is I tried to foster animals for a really long time, and then I just kept foster failing them. So now I have a big dog. He's currently on a walk right now, and we have cats, and they're just so great to come home to. I'm sure all the viewers understand love for animals. If you can foster, that's great for you. But for me, I can't. I just keep saying, okay, I want this one. Okay, I'll take this one too.
That's exactly how I feel too. I actually recently applied to foster cats. I have a dog, but I've kind of been wanting a cat. And I just have a feeling if I do end up fostering them, I will probably want to adopt them. So I feel you on that one. Well, Mary Jane, what has your experience been like so far? You've only been with us for a week now, but you've already been, like I said, doing some stories. We ran a couple of your stories in our 6 p.m. show. How has it been going so far?
It's been going really great. I never expected to cover this much so fast. I already hit the Mackinac Bridge. That was a really cool experience. And it's under construction, so I was told that it's a lot louder when you're going past it. So I need to experience the full Mackinac Bridge experience when construction is over.
Yes. Definitely. And as our newest Petoskey Bureau reporter, you probably will be experiencing the Mackinac Bridge quite a bit. So what else do you like to do for fun on the weekends, on your free time?
I spend a lot of time with my animals, if I'm going to be honest. We just go on a lot of walks. I used to do a lot of skiing, and now I know that there's some ski resorts here. That's another thing, surprised by that. There's ski resorts. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of it is just, kind of journalism too. I'd like to tell stories, and I like to get to know people and share everything.
So certainly the perfect job for you then. And yeah, a lot of great ski resorts up by the Petoskey area. So I think you're going to have a lot of fun this winter. Well, Mary Jane, thank you so much for making your unscripted debut. Like I said, we are so happy to have you on our team here, and you'll be seeing and hearing from Mary Jane a lot more here in the coming weeks, months, and the next couple of years as well. All right, let's take a quick commercial break, but Joe's going to come back in just a couple of minutes, and he'll have much more on the forecast for our Memorial Day weekend. Straight ahead.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Bit of a chilly start to our Memorial Day weekend, but Joe mentioned we will slowly start to warm up a bit. So, Joe, when we get to actual Memorial Day, we know there'll be a lot of events around northern Michigan, a lot of them outside. How warm will it be on Monday?
I would, we're looking at 60s and some 70s even making a return. And that's only, 3 days from now. So it is going to gradually warm up. We've just been kind of stuck in this same pattern every day this week with clouds, and there's been a little sun, but not a lot. It's been cool. We've had showers, and we're going to start seeing a little improvement in the weather. Let's go to the Mackinac Bridge. Live look there, looking north, our Holiday Inn Express camera. Yeah, I mean, it's moving, especially considering it looks like half the bridge is closed traffic-wise for construction. So traffic moving along, but you can definitely tell it's a holiday weekend with a lot of traffic moving both north and south. Radar, let's start with that, and our satellite picture. A fair amount of cloud cover, and we've had rain, but it's kind of been confined here. So you're talking near the Canadian border, Drummond Island, you've had off and on rain if you're watching there. And then around Rogers City, much of Alpena County. Although if you look right in downtown Alpena, it's kind of like to your west. So part of that in Talcona County. And you can see the rain continuing there. So our area of low pressure that brought all this, it sits near Toronto. That's going to finally get kicked off the East Coast. And if you look up northwest of Lake Superior tonight, a big wedge of high pressure, that'll start building down and lead to a pretty quiet weekend coming up here in general terms. So we'll run through that. There's tonight, there's tomorrow morning. Now we'll stop this around 10, 11 o'clock. Still rather cloudy in the morning hours. And then as we get later into the afternoon, the clouds start to break up. So more sun later in the day tomorrow. Small chance of a sprinkle. Sunday, pretty quiet. We'll call it partly cloudy. There's Sunday afternoon around 2 o'clock. And then here is Memorial Day and a really nice day coming up. I think mostly sunny skies. And it's not just here. Downstate areas, looking at sunshine. Much of the west and central UP. And then, of course, our area seeing that dry weather also. So here is the weekend forecast. Again, kind of cloudy early tomorrow, a little sun later in the day. Upper 50s to around 60 on Sunday. And then you can see there on Memorial Day, 65 to 73. Here's a little more specific look at that. Mostly sunny. This is for Monday with those seasonable temperatures. We also have the Bayshore Marathon in Traverse City. That is this weekend. And we're looking at 42 early on. The race starts at 7, but by 8 o'clock, 42, 51 around 1. And then mid-50s. We should see some sunshine, though, as we get deeper into the afternoon. With dry weather, the wind direction there also will be out of the north-northwest. There's our extended forecast. So really, between tomorrow through Tuesday, pretty quiet weather. And the gradual warm-up, we'll really start feeling that on Monday. And then it is warmer next week, but I still think another chance for a little rain returns. Looks like Wednesday, Thursday, another system coming in. Doesn't look like a lot, but more showers then. But Memorial Day does look pretty nice, Maya.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe. And you mentioned the Bayshore Marathon. That is happening tomorrow, but our Harrison Beebe is getting in on the action tonight. He'll join us live from the pickup in just a few minutes. Well, before you can run a race in the Bayshore Marathon, you got to pick up your packet, of course. Sports director Harrison Beebe joins us live from Grand Traverse County, where he is at the packet pickup tonight. How's it going down there, Harrison?
Yeah, Maya, what was that first word? I didn't quite hear you.
Packet.
Packet. Yes,
I know.
that is.
In my first tease, I kind of messed up that word and I just kept going, but thanks for addressing it.
Ooh, Maya, don't refer to it as a tease. My dad always thought viewers didn't know what tease meant.
Oh,
I always disagreed with him. But
what's another way? A look ahead to what's to come.
a preview,
yeah. A preview, there we go.
A lead-in, all sorts of fun nicknames. But yes, us in the biz call it a tease. Take that, Dad. Yeah, we're here at Packet Pickup. They're wrapping up. They're going to be done here in about an hour. It's been going since 11 in the morning, so most everybody's probably checked in, 7,000 plus runners. But obviously, if you have that many competitors, you need to have a big space. We're at the Civic Center, Grand Traverse County Civic Center. So, like I said, packing up, but pun intended, there were a lot of vendors here earlier, showcasing different running, articles of clothing or food, snack options. So, real good way to immerse yourself in the running community, besides just checking in and getting your bib and your T-shirt.
Yeah, that was my favorite part when I ran in the 10K couple of the past years. I'd go to the packet pickup and pick up all the goodies. So I'd come home with some applesauce and some other fun treats.
It's like trick-or-treating for runners. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Harrison. Well, we know the events kick off tomorrow morning. And we also know that not everyone can make it to Traverse City to see their loved ones compete in the races. But luckily, you'll have them covered, right?
That's right. We'll have a live stream going about 7:45 or so, depending on traffic and when we can get set up. For those of you on our Facebook, X, and YouTube page, probably where you're watching this show right now if you're not on ABC. So we'll be streaming the finish line online and recap all things winners for you right there, as we've done the last 2 years. So.
All right. And of course, the Tigers are back in action tonight. And some exciting news that I just heard, and I'm sure you have as well, Matt Vierling is officially activated.
That's good. A healthy team with even more health is always a plus.
Absolutely. All right, Harrison, enjoy the rest of the packet pickup tonight. Thanks so much for joining us live from there. Let's take a quick break, but coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to take another look at our question of the day related to how you honor people on Memorial Day. So we'll take a look at those results straight ahead.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Monday, of course, is Memorial Day, and we want to know how you will honor those who served in our country in any sort of military branch. So take a look at the results on your screen right now. It looks like 43% of people, the majority, voted other. 26 said visit a cemetery or memorial. 20% say fly U.S. flag at half staff, and 11% say attend a service or parade. And we do have a list of different services and parades right now on our website, UpNorthLive.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Unscripted. Have a great weekend, everyone.